Get your tickets now for the 23rd annual edition of the OUTshine LGBTQ Plus Film Festival happening April 23rd to May 2nd. Don't miss our incredible grand opening drive-in event followed by 10 days of non-stop films from here and all around the world that you can watch at home. Watch trailers and get your tickets at OUTshineFilm.com now.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Dino Mosquera. I am one of the board directors at the OUTshine Film Festival. And today we have the wonderful visit of a filmmaker from Chile. His name is Alberto Fuguet, and he's joining us to talk about his documentary, Everything at Once. Hola, Alberto. How are you?
Hola, ¿qué tal? Mucho gusto. We're going to be in English, no?
That's right, yeah.
Good.
Wonderful to have you with us, Alberto, so that we can talk about this wonderful documentary that you just presented, and which I understand the name in the original name is Paco and Manolo's Gays. Is that right?
Yes, I mean it's a subtitle. I like in some of my books or in movies like two titles. In a way, it's called Todo la vez, Everything at Once, parentheses. Paco and Manolo's Gays in English, which gays with a Z and an E, and in Spanish it's more boring. La mirada de Paco y Manolo.
La mirada de Paco y Manolo.
And in singular, because even though they're two, in a way, everything they do is one.
Correct. Yes. So talking about Paco and Manolo, these two wonderful photographers, Catalanes, both of them, I think they live right outside Barcelona. Is that correct? They are.
They grew up outside Barcelona, but now they live in smack Barcelona, and they don't have no car, and they walk and take advantage of the city and the locations, which they use very well, it seems.
Okay.
Well, not it seems, it's, I believe. I'm trying to fix the light there.
Good. I know a lot of the settings in their photographies were outdoors, beautifully shot outside Barcelona in the outskirts. So, but let me start with, I know you're Chilean, you're not Spanish, so
no.
You're not Spaniard. So how do you got to make this documentary about these two wonderful photographers in Spain, and what is your connection to Paco and Manolo?
Well, the first thing is, why limit yourself if now it's not so difficult to film, and before the pandemic it wasn't so difficult to travel? I was a fan. I mean, I didn't know too much about them. I knew actually very little, but I had some ideas, or maybe thoughts, or maybe fantasies about them, and I got into this trilogy without really not planning it in a way. I would say a trilogy that had to do with the male body, homosexual desire, the flesh, and there was one movie called Cola de Mono, which was like a thriller. Then we made Siempre Sí, which was like what I call a romantic porn movie set in Mexico, and that was set in Mexico, even though I'm not Mexican and have not lived in Mexico. So then came this idea of doing a documentary about somebody who explored the male body and do a documentary format, not do a movie or a fiction movie. And then with my producer said, well, we're fans of Paco and Manolo. We try to ask people who travel to get their magazine, which is very beautifully done and how you say, printed, and it's not very analog, to use a word, Dino. It's even though, of course, they're online and they have Instagram and they have two Instagram, Paco and Manolo. Maybe later you can put it in, or Kink Magazine. but the real experience is exactly that. It's a magazine which it's so beautiful made, and I think it's romantic, it's sexy. It's not. It has nothing to do with one of the things they say. It's not a porn magazine, though it's totally full frontal and very explicit. It's something you want to cherish. And so basically, I began to write them, and they thought I was crazy, and they said no, 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 or thank you so much, you're very kind, but we don't make movies. We're very shy. We would never do a documentary. And I kept on stalking them, and I sent them my books. Um, I'm also a writer. I think before, I guess I don't know what I am, but I guess I started naturally as a writer and a novelist, and I sent them books I thought I could seduce them with. So I sent them my more gay, explicit novels. I sent them movies, some books about movies because I know they're very into movies, and they caught the attention, and then they gave me their WhatsApp, and we began to talk, and they said one day, this all sounds interesting, but I like your movies. I sent them another documentary I made, but you have to talk face to face. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we're not gonna, how you say, decide on a, well, I didn't even know there was a Zoom. I guess we said the word Skype. We're not gonna, how you say, bond with you over Skype.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I said it true, and I also like that, which it means they're really analog in the whole sense of the word. So I talked to Arturo and said, "Dude, we're gonna have to go to Barcelona." So since he's from Sevilla, I went to Sevilla, hanged out. We decided when they had the day after these holidays, and we went to see them for 4 days. We brought them porn magazines, vintage old porn magazines, and we hang out. And immediately we hit it off. We began to talk about writers we like, movies we like, music we like. Um, and then one day while we were having tapas, I don't know if you've been to Spain, Dino, but
Yes,
huh?
yes, yes. I
Yeah.
have.
So basically we were tapeando every day, and then in the middle of a tapas, they said, "Okay, okay, what?" I thought they were saying, "You want to have another drink or you want to order some pulpo or something?" He said, "No, no, okay, we're in. We'll do it." So then we had to just organize ourselves and said, "Okay, we'll be back in a year or something like that." And we returned in September and we filmed.
So yes, because yeah, that's
So
one thing.
basically, it's a fan movie because they're not like friends or uncles or anything.
Right. I did see that. Right, that you met them prior to COVID, right, and then you
Yes,
started
yes.
COVID, right? During COVID, during the documentary, you see the whole, them going into the quarantine, the lockdown in Spain, right? During your
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's like a little spoiler, but we filmed the whole movie, really. We filmed the movie in 6 months before COVID. Huh?
mm-hmm.
We filmed
Okay.
it in September, but very close to a Chilean revolution, which Chile began to burn, and Chile
Yes.
got very excited. So my brain was totally unsettled. So it wasn't the time to make this movie, we felt. But once the pandemic came, it's like we can't never put this movie together because we're never going to find the time when everything is very calm. So
Mm-hmm.
we decided to make the movie during the pandemic, and then we decided to not only make it secretly in a way, also how you say the word, not to how you say take in charge would be something like that. I mean, not to put the pandemic in the movie in a way, and not to think it
Yes.
was just something that was
Yeah, it was
by chance.
circumstantial, right? Just
Yes,
it shown us something that was going on, but just briefly in your documentary. So it's not like
yeah,
the focus of the documentary, right? By any
no,
means.
no. But
Oh.
in a way, the pandemic made us think of things about what it means to be alone, what it means to be naked, what it means to jerk off alone in your room, if that is a good thing, if that is a naughty thing, if that is something that you would do watching or not. Um, I suddenly realized that one of the things I like about Paco and Manolo is the pictures of guys alone. Especially in, I have like a fetish in movies and the movies I make, even I think the books I write. I love the idea of somebody alone in a room. Huh?
Yeah.
I think there's a big like uh, heritage of movies and books that take and photography that has to do with the loneliness or somebody alone. Of course, this is all a lie because if you see those pictures, Paco and Manolo were on the other side; they were not alone. Huh?
Yeah, but that's
So
of the most striking things that I appreciated from the documentary, that even though Paco and Manolo are interacting with them, it
mhm.
feels like they are by themselves. I mean, these are
Oh,
people that
thank you.
they're guard down, they're very they're very unaware, and they're very natural, very intimate. So
Yes.
in
And
in
sometimes
their
they even fight or they don't agree. Or the idea I told them is we were going to be like a fly in the wall. We were going to not interrupt. We were going to be the less people as possible. Basically, most times we were shooting, it was me, and sometimes not even me. Sometimes I left the room. But basically, we had sound and camera, the same person, which was Patricio Alfaro, who did an amazing work. And we decided before leaving to Spain that looking at the pictures, we had to honor the style. So we couldn't be glossy and interrupt their style because if we were going to light a room, that our light was going to reflect on their models, huh? Or outside, we're going to have things that reflect light. So we decided just to use natural light and follow the way they follow the sun, both insides and outsides. And so
no
sometimes basically we were two, and they, since we knew each other, we were already. The first thing we did is like had one day of talking and drinking and before filming, and they as you say they let their guard down, and I think they don't even know that we were filming them because they were really into their heads, and the
yeah.
models.
Yeah, and it seems like because also the locations, the places where you film were very mundane, very like
Mhm.
everyday, like the kitchen or the living room or outside in this beautiful side that you have of this guy on the tree outside, on in the outdoors, which is beautiful. It's very like
Yeah, but it's
nonchalant.
funny, but it's also a sort of a lie because this beautiful trees and all that is a park that's 3 blocks away from their
Uh,
house. It's called Montjuic, which would be like Griffith Park in Los Angeles. It's uh,
it,
it's um it's a hill where
yeah,
there's Olympic stuff, where there's concerts. It's a very big hill, but as all hills have places where people don't transit if you get off the beaten path. But sometimes they were taking pictures and people were passing by. So it's funny that they also lie, which makes them more very quite intelligent. This picture, if this was outside of Barcelona, an hour away, the famous gay beach where the famous festival is, Sitges, and
yes.
there it was part of the cruising area where we shot this, and then they went closer to the cliffs that were hanging over the Mediterranean.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've been to Montjuic. That's what the Pueblo Español is too, right? The right next to the Olympic Villa, right? And
Yeah, yes, yeah, yes,
with the teleférico,
yes,
also,
yes,
right?
exactly. And now there's so sometime we went. They knew all the paths, so they knew where less people were, more trees in autumn or in spring. They know Montjuic very well. They call it their backlots.
Hmm. So, Paco and Manolo, it's my understanding they've been together like 30 years. Is that right?
Yes,
They long
I mean they
relation.
would be now. I think it's 30 years, 19. So they would be like 32 now.
Right. Okay. Wow. And
Wow. Yes,
it seemed
that's
like
just that's already a documentary, no, Dino?
yes, no, and it's actually because that comes into picture into in your movie. I mean, their relationship, how
Yes, I
they
wanted that.
right, and how they understand each other, almost how they finish each other's sentences, how
I think it's a very romantic in that way, and it's something that I guess many people who will see this movie will aspire to. In that sense, I think it's a perfect date movie, also. Huh?
yes, yeah, and if I understand correctly, they were known photographers before they started working together. Is that right, or
No, no, they were. No, they met basically at 18 or 19. They
Okay.
hooked up. They never split again. And one was studying more arts. They began to get into photography, and they began very quickly to make a name of themselves with rock. I would say rock photography and fashion photography.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And one of the things they, if you see, we show in the documentary, and every people who can go into their Instagram and stuff, what the pictures they took of rock stars or writers or just people who use fashion shoots, they look very close to what they're taking pictures now. They began little by little to take off the clothes of the models. Like a guy was promoting a shirt with a jean. They took
Hmm.
off the jeans, but they left the underwear. And little by little, their aesthetic began to form. And it's very amazing that their fashion shoots and the photos they took with clothes on look very like the pictures they take now. And they decided to abandon that world, the corporate world. They didn't want to be to how you say, I want to take this picture, you have to take this way. They wanted
Right.
to be free, and they
Right.
began to make their own magazine, which is Kink. And now the Kink is number like 34, I think. They're already in 34 magazines,
Is that
which are really books.
monthly, or what is the
Excuse me?
publication? Is that a monthly publication? How often is it?
No, it would be called how you call it in English? Semestral.
Okay.
Every season, every no, twice a year.
Twice a year, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
So
So
it's 30, it's about 15 years already
right.
publishing the magazine, and also the way they want it with their colors, their
Yeah,
no commercials. I mean, they decide they're in control from the cover to the other cover.
yeah, completely independent. Is their
Totally
call,
independent. It's really a
right?
very elegant and a very elegant fanzine, you would say. And people collect them, and of course they run out because they don't print 10,000. So maybe you will never get Dino unless you go Amazon or something, number
Yes.
15 or 16 or something like that.
So
They told me like a gay thing in Barcelona is like if you hook up with somebody or you go to dinner or whatever, and you find a kink magazine in the home or the house or the room. I say, okay, this guy is one of us, and he's also cool, or
yeah,
he's sexy, or he
it,
doesn't only have other stuff.
it's like an
So
ID to love. It's like an
yes,
ID.
yes, yes, a very cool Mediterranean ID. Yes.
That's right. That's right. So if I so the models or the people that are posing for them during the documentary, they
Guys,
yeah, these guys, right? Do they get in contact with them through social media? Is my
yes,
understanding right? Is
correctly.
that
You understood perfectly well.
are preparing them, right, to be
Yeah,
photographed?
something that I didn't agree in a way, especially for the movie, because I went to bars and said, this, and this guy. I said, no, 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 Alberto, calm down. You're not going to change us, and not for the movie. We're going to, and I said, what are we going to do if nobody wants to model? They always want to model, they told me. And we're gonna post an idea that saying we're gonna make a movie now, and we're looking for models. We have a lot of time for this week, and Manolo was showing me, Paco especially, who takes in charge of the social media, began to show me the way guys wrote, huh? and um, and the basically the modus operandi is before Instagram, it was Facebook, is that they, like you, Dino, if you want to pose, you have to write them. Maybe you don't have to write them because you're shy. Maybe you write a little more coy, but you will say,
Mhm.
hey, I'm Dino from Miami. I really appreciate your work. Oh, thank you so much. And then you decide. And so, wow, I really like your photography. I would maybe love to pose. Great, but you have to say it. Huh? And then, of
Yeah,
course, since you're in Miami, they probably say, we're not going to Miami. We'll never cross the Atlantic. But maybe if you come to Barcelona, or maybe if we come to Miami one day, we're going to write you down as a Miami person who's willing. And it's very interesting because first they have to ask. I mean, the
Yeah.
model has to want to, and then it's free. I mean, Paco and Manolo doesn't pay them, and they don't pay Paco and Manolo.
Yes.
The models don't see the pictures. They have no idea if they turned out well or no. Sometimes they show it in the camera, and they decide what pictures are gonna be in the magazine, of course, like in any important photographer.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like the way your nose appears, that's not their problem in a way. And and also they send them the magazine, but they don't choose anything. So it's really a very trusting thing. And what a lot of guys told me, not everything that I talked to could be in the movie because it would last 7 hours. But also, a lot of people feel that to be in kink is an honor. So, and there's also like a badge of honor and also another type of ID. So, and of course, not everybody is from Spain. Sometimes they go to of course they travel throughout Spain. There are pictures and models from Granada, from Madrid, and also sometimes they travel to. They say that they feel very comfortable in the kindness of strangers, to quote Tennessee
Yes.
Williams. So sometimes when they go to Berlin or to Paris, to a fair or to a book fair, they say we're in Paris, and immediately somebody,
Yeah.
maybe you're just in Paris, or maybe you're a Parisian who follow them, or like one of the couples who were in our movie were
Have you?
these French guys who were living now for a couple of months, like Thomas is from Toulouse. They felt that it was a great opportunity to. So we have they of course they have Americans, Latin Americans, but
Uh-huh.
basically most of their shoot, and they one of the ideas was to do a tour, to go to festivals and like go with Paco Malo to Miami and then go to, I don't know, out of Miami or to the beach or to dunes or something, or to go to
Mm-hmm.
the Keys, or they want to come to South America. But for now that is suspended. But they use very well what they have in charge, even a hotel room, as you say.
Yeah. No, I mean the guys. I mean, beautiful. The even though it happens that organically, like you said, they were contacted by these guys. The French couple was stunning. I mean, it all seems so natural, which is what you want, right? I mean, it shows really the spontaneous interaction
Yeah,
with the directors. Definitely.
especially if you want to get that type of images. I mean, if you want to do porn, or you want to promote, I don't know, a brand of Coke or soft drink, that's another area.
Right.
We're
They
interested in that, and to get that intimacy. I think they really, more than to shoot bodies and sex, they shoot stories, they shoot moods, and uh, and the idea of nakedness, which now I think with the pandemic means another word, and the body means another word, and I think I had to do the same thing. I couldn't be interrupting. I couldn't say to the model, "Move," because I had to follow them. So it was a
Yeah.
great experience also for
Right.
me,
It's
and
very
sexy also because I thought it was going to be everybody wants to see a shoot. So we were very fortunate, and the shoot is very different than the way fashion photographers work or porn photographers work.
right, and they made it very clear in the documentary that what they do is not pornography. It
Yeah,
is erotica. Is the erotica is the male nude, the beauty of the male nude.
form.
That's right. It's just is
Yeah, and not only the form. Also, I would say also what's inside the person. I mean, I think you feel their sentiments, their state of mood. I think they're very interested in some things that porn or male erotica, even or gay culture, are not comfortable with, like being soft. Like not everybody is hard. That you can be not perfect. That a
mm,
guy who's maybe has a tummy or um, has wrinkles or has, I don't know, whatever. It can be just as beautiful as the Calvin Klein ad. That you
right.
don't have to be shaved or whatever. And also you feel the rooms, you feel you feel, I think, your soul. I mean, one of the things I was fascinated, is is of course accustomed to the porn world, is that what ejaculation. No, people talk about it's so important that in a porn movie the actors come, and here they say for them it's important, but not for the reasons anybody would think. It's because after a man, of course, comes, um, he changes. He changes, and he turns into probably his real self. Because in a way, sex is also performing. Even sex by yourself is performing. But once you come, you get very calm and very slow and very naked, to use a strange word. Even though you're naked, jerking off, once you come, you're not that person anymore, and you're not in that state of mind, or you're not with that fantasy that you were thinking of, because they don't do something so crude as you want to watch porn or something. Because if somebody comes, and if somebody doesn't. If somebody gets hard, they get hard. If they don't, they don't. And really, the pictures of the, well, Paco and Manolo would say, this guy came, this not, in other pictures, and actually everything changes. They really turn into, I felt, into very innocent persons. They turn into sort of angels. And we were very lucky to shoot one of those instances, which is in the case of Elliot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Which is
the
strange. You're strange talking about cum and angels, but I don't know if you said that, because
right.
usually
Well,
cum is considered nasty. It's considered, I don't know, the end. Here for them, it's the beginning of a new stage of the personality and the body.
well, they all look like angels to me. I mean,
Yes,
they all
yes, I agree. I
right.
agree.
They're all beautiful and like you said, in a very natural way. No
Hmm.
preconceived, no produce. Not
Yes,
stereotype.
no fashion. Yes, no stereotypes. One of
Natural.
the things they do, and maybe this will help them. I mean, I'm not their manager or anything, but it's true that says that most men over 35 are more shy for different reasons. For Because of their jobs, because of the way they were brought up, because of the technology, whatever. And so it's difficult for them to get older men, or men who are different with a typical perfect body. But as you see, also a perfect body in Europe also means something else, because
Right.
nobody's really is full of abs or produced by a gym, no? Like
That's right.
most of the models were telling me, "Oh, I'm too fat. I shouldn't be. I wish I would have been in my top form. You, uh, maybe we should do it again." It's no, calm down, calm down. You look like an angel, as you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
So I
I
think
mean,
it's very liberating for the spectator. I think one of the things is what I pose. I think one of the questions I want people to see this movie is, would I write them? Would I pose? Would be the end of the world? Would I be kicked out? Would I be considered I don't know, an exhibitionist, or a loony, or somebody who doesn't know boundaries? And
yeah,
I
no,
personally should have posed. I mean, I
no,
didn't. I wasn't brave enough. But now
it's
I think I would.
it's something that yeah, it's
You?
an interesting question because with changes and mostly social media, where you get this exposure and people get more free to express themselves,
Mhm.
to show themselves. It's not as like you said, with the previous generations of gay men where it was more private. My pictures are
Yes.
mine. I don't want anybody that I don't consent
Hopefully,
to.
not even the person who at the drugstore who develops.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So talking about that, so the word kink. Let's talk about the word kink. I guess in Spanish is morbo. Is that right? Is that what you? How would you translate kink into Spanish? Morbo,
Yes. Morbo.
morbo,
Uh,
right?
and also, it means it's also a play. Basically, maybe to answer you the other way around, it doesn't really mean what you think it means in English.
Right.
It's a
Well,
way. It's a word they appropriated
mhm.
from kinky, because actually their magazine is very little kinky, and it's very unkinky, or very
It's
I would
it's
say very pastoral. I think the word is pastoral or bucolic. Uh,
an artistic. I mean,
Artistic, yes, by all means.
Right.
But for
So,
them, kink means like they thought it was a sexy word. It had to do with sex. It means morbo, a little morbo, mean like lust, and it also means, even though it's written in another way, a certain type of men, which is el chico kinky, which in
mhm,
Spain means more working class, not so blonde, not so more what in some circles they would used to call trade, because they grew up watching these movies about young men from Bilbao who were on the wrong side of the tracks or who were drug
right.
addicts and who had very dirty clothes or and they felt and who had very crummy underwear, huh? And they felt that that type of um, what is the word, that sensibility
Uh-huh.
really turned them on and felt that that was much more beautiful and sexy than a fashion shoot from these beautiful Aryan models from, I don't know, from cologne commercials. So that is sort of the word kink, but actually it's the word in America could be confused and you think it's going to be a magazine about.
Right.
Uh,
No, and that's one an interesting thing because this is
so
about
kink is very unkinky, I would say.
right. This is it's about mostly Spanish men. This is the regular, but again, like you said, there are also men from other places, but
Yes.
their beginnings was shooting every gay man in or any kind of gay man in
Yeah, and
Spain.
not everybody is gay. First of all, I mean, I think we had out mostly gay, but not all our models were gay, and
Okay.
not all everybody who shoots who is shot is gay. They told me that many times the girlfriend writes them,
Uh
and it's
huh.
like Sebastian is so cute. I would like to have pictures from him.
Okay.
And people also change. Sometimes they were gay, now they're not. They're whatever. But it's not an obligation to be gay. And one
Yeah.
of the things that was fascinating is that most guys, gay or straight or bi or curious or frustrated or whatever, tend to perform the same way. Most of them get hot. Most of them are totally open, and most of them have great fun. Like the
Hmm.
first kid who's in the first Herman, the first one. I think there's a picture. That one, his girlfriend sent him.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Huh.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Things that I also wanted to talk to the people who modeled, to the models,
Uh
because
huh.
one always thinks, I'm also from another generation, is that what are these guys have in their head? And
Yes.
they're much more normal, and they're not people who are breaking boundaries, and they don't really do it also for maybe for the thrill of it, but not for the kink of it.
Yeah. So as we know, Spain has gone through dramatical changes. I
Yes.
mean, since Franco to this part, especially when it comes to this kind of publications.
Hmm.
I mean, publishing, male nudity and erotica is something that in the last few years. I mean, they went through from one extreme to the next. I mean, to the opposite, right? They
Totally.
have done yeah, it's great. How do you see the differences? I mean, since you come from from Chile, from South America, how do you see the difference or the comparisons or anything in that regard? Since we all go back to Spain, and this is our
Hmm.
reference. Spain is like the motherland. So it's just how do you see that happening in Latin America, or are you aware, or how is it in Chile, for example, the publications of male nude pictures and that freedom in our
Hmm.
community.
I think it's changing all over the world. I think the pandemic has probably jumped everything twice, but probably I think it's the invention of the cell phone and internet has really changed, as we were talking before. Um, the like the mother land or the mother religion, the mother whatever, or even the mother, your mother, now is not so important. The idea of that sex is bad, that it's a sin, uh, and I think technology, everything is very global. One of the things that Latin America has is that is very Latin America is very quick to get on to mass media. Even the poorest countries
Mhm.
actually, while the poor while a country is less developed, the more technology in a way there is. I mean, mass media is very important in Latin America. Radio first, records, TV, telenovelas, now internet. Like everybody has it, and if they don't have money, they find ways to get phones or rent them or
Our
have Tumblr. Or they used to have it. Remember in Latin America, every city had thousands of cyber cafes. So
Mhm.
technology comes very quick here, and it's very absorbed. So I would say that the idea of taking pictures nude for a generation that I would say is under 30 is not a question. In the and there's now a new word. No, nudes with an S means something else now, and it's almost a way of presenting yourself to people you don't even know. Which in maybe for other people it's like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, I didn't ask you to see so much. So that said, that said, here Kink wants to not have the aesthetic of the nude. I mean, they want natural light, not not the picture like this. This I think it's an amazing. I hope this is a cover of one of my books one day. And that is not somebody a guy sends you. Perhaps he's not nude. He is. Huh?
Mhm. Yeah.
And
So
nobody sends you that through an app.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
I
No.
think the idea, what I understood, that even though these guys have been naked before, some have been to naked beaches or have filmed themselves, they know that another eye and another light can turn them into something very different than to just do the DIY, is it called?
Yeah.
Do it yourself. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Do it yourself now. But publishing male nudity in Latin America. I mean, books. Like that. Are
Ah,
they
that
that
is
have?
less normal. I think yes. Here because it's probably run by older people and because it's more displayed. And this magazine also it's very elegant. It's that.
Beautiful. Yes.
But I think also there's a problem with that in everything. I mean, if you publish a women's magazine of clothes, it's very difficult now to publish because magazines are disappearing. I mean, I grew up when magazines were very important. It was a window to the world. Now and I don't think it's the same thing as internet. No.
No, it's true. Even Playboy and Hustler magazines
Yes, of course.
are disappearing and going.
Yes.
Cyber. So
So, yeah.
it's not happening anymore. You're right. So it's moving into the cyber world, right? So this is
Yeah, I made a movie, Dino, which when I began this trilogy, and I needed new nude guys. Not only needed nude guys, I need some guys who had to perform sex, and I knew that that was not going to happen. I mean, when I made this movie 3 years ago, which is Cola de Mono, which has no translation. It's a movie it's in the States by TLA. It's
is
like
that
a
monkey
thriller.
is that monkey tail? No.
Yeah, it's Mikey Tail in a way, but it really means I think in the Caribbean it's called rompope or something. It's the eggnog. It's the drink you drink, and
Yes.
everywhere it's awful. It's the horrible Christmas sweet drink with a liquor and coffee or cream or something.
Ponche crema.
And algo así es, exactamente.
Right.
Entonces, en Chile it's called cola de mono, which also means cola means other things, which means gay
Yes.
and means ass.
Yes.
And it's a Christmas movie. So anyway, in that movie, we needed. There was a scene in a bathhouse, and there was a scene with cruising. And I basically, when we began to pre-produce and begin to shoot, I knew that my actors were prepared and were all willing, but I knew that I said this is going to be impossible. So we're going to have to shoot in another way or close the images because I'm never going to get guys who want to be nude and for free and less perform sex in a park. I mean, free.
Hmm.
And my producer, who was young and did everything on Instagram and on the internet, he said, "Okay, for the cruising scene, I have 58 guys, and for the sound, I have 104."
Oh my.
And I didn't know what to. Of course, we couldn't have 104 people, but and then I realized that I had to keep on doing this, and there was a possibility.
Yeah.
because I thought really Cola de Mono was going to be like a camera piece, and my actor would be a little naked, and you could sort of. And when I told me my actors were all young actors, you're going to have to be naked. Um, they said, "Okay." I mean, why are you telling me this? You know?
Concerned with it, right? I'll be naked. So so
I mean,
they
they were more. They would probably been in what I. They told a lot of them told me they were more worried that I would have dressed them in clothes that were not flattering, but
yes.
because their nakedness could be controlling. I mean, they didn't want to dress like Menudo or something, you know.
Right.
But if they're naked, they can control their body because they sort of own it. And
Yeah.
so and so I learned a lot, and that's why the way the trilogy was made. Because so I wanted to end this trilogy with people I admire who really take the body or the male body and do it and excel and fly.
So, going back to that, and basically, I guess the end of the trilogy is this film, Everything at
Yes.
Once. How meeting Paco and Manolo changed your perception of them from before to after your film? How do you, after meeting them and after
Mhm.
shooting film with them and after going through all this, did it change
Oh,
your?
a lot. Yeah. Well, I think more than change, I really didn't know them. I mean, they're just a name. It's like a brand. Um, and once I met them when we went to Barcelona to try to involve them in the plan, um, I knew that they were very very close to me, and we had a lot of stuff in common. It's also very important to know that one of the things I get very angry in a way, Dino, is that sex or male nudity or even porn is always like associated with trash, with
Mhm.
underdevelopment. I don't know underdevelopment, but like with people who are very raw and basic, that are very uncultured in a way, huh? And these
Mhm.
are artists. These are artists who make art, and of course, as any real artist, consumes art. I mean, they've seen movies, they've seen pictures, they've seen museums, they have their favorite painters, they have their favorite photography. These are not just horny old men, huh? And so it was great to meet like somebody who I felt was in the same wavelength. Who we could also talk about guys, but we could also talk about movies and fight about movies and remember movies and records and everything. And and I was fascinated that the way a couple can be couples break up so much, and it's so hard to be with somebody a year or two. They is awesome that they usually one of the things that break up a couple is desire, no desire for others,
Yeah.
or what we call morbo, or these or is and they turn their horniness, their lust, their idea of looking at nude men into their bond, their profession, now their magazine, their way of life. I also learned a lot about being independent and saying, be able to say "fuck you." It's like
Right.
we're going to begin to show nude men, and if that doesn't mean people don't want to hire because they think we're too kinky, well, fuck you. I mean, I'm not going to change my art because somebody wants me to take pictures of an advertising campaign. And so
That's right.
eventually they decided to make a life that is very modest. They don't go around in helicopters, or they don't need like the famous, the famous photographer we admire many times in like Annie Leibovitz. They don't need 110 crew and planes and stuff. Huh? And one of the things I really appreciated is that you never know really what pictures is whose. They change the cameras, and so they really trust each other. And there's not like that picture that Alberto, the one you like, I took it, and the one that's not so good is Dino's. No, all the pictures are from both of them. So they
Mm.
really and all another fascinating thing is that their name is Paco and Manolo, and all the guys are just Dino or Alberto or Adrian or Thomas or Elliot. They don't really believe so much in they're practicing a sort of democracy.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you shown this documentary in Spain? Have they
No,
put
no,
it?
we're totally new. We're opening. This is our second festival.
Okay.
I'm very fascinated with being in Miami. which I also know there a lot of people speak Spanish. So um, I definitely, if somebody likes the movie, they should follow Paco and Manolo. And of course, when they maybe when travel opens, somebody could go there or vice versa. Um,
Do you have a web page for your film that people should follow just when after this
no,
happens?
not yet, actually. Good idea. But now they could go through Open Reel, which is our distributor,
Yes, I
and
saw.
through Paco and Manolo, and
Yeah.
or Kink Magazine. And the movie, yes, is going to go to Spain. It's going to go to a couple of festivals more in the summer, more in
Uh-huh.
2 months. So now we're just beginning. So we're just testing the waters, and I'm very happy. I think now I can go to bed well. I think it's
Uh,
like,
uh, Chile, are you planning to show it in Chile and in Latin America?
oh
Are
yes,
you?
of course. I mean, to all the festivals they want, and then we're going to be online.
Uh-huh.
In Latin America, everything is pirated, so probably it will be pirated and everybody can see it, hopefully. And
Yes.
it will be probably in Chile. There's a system where Chilean movies are in online, supported by the state. So, but we think we're probably will be in filming in Spain, and let's see what happens in the States, where we're going to be, on what platform will appear. I think it's not so easy to be in the famous platform because still people are very afraid of male nudity. I think gays are afraid of male nudity, and straight. I think the only ones who are not afraid of male nudity are women.
Yeah, no, but you seen. I mean,
Gays are afraid to be too gay and to be considered only. So thank you so much for taking the movie into the festival. And many people are afraid to not be cool enough, big enough, wide enough, or they don't want to. And straight men are very scared of showing their body also.
that's right.
So
Yeah,
many
no,
people get scared. But I think this movie could be perfectly the same as making a documentary on an Italian paint or something.
right. No, no, no. And I think that I applaud you for what you did. I mean, it's wonderful that you know this film is coming from Latin America. It's coming from us to
Oh
show
yeah,
are also changing in our views and our attitudes and our positions about homosexuality or male nudity or
yeah.
freedom of expression. And I think it's important that we show this and that you get to show this to other places, especially around Latin America, where we still have a lot of way
Yes,
to go
yes.
with these kind of issues. So, but we're coming to the end of our conversation,
It was
Albert.
great. It was great.
I
Thanks.
want to thank you so much for your participation and for giving us this wonderful documentary. I wish you the best of luck with this film, and we are here reminding our viewers that we're gonna have this film available for virtual viewing during the festival starting April 24th through May 2nd at
Yeah,
OUTshine
right.
Film. And we hope to have your next film here too, Alberto. And I don't know if you want to have a few words at the end, but we thank you so much for
No,
being
no,
here.
thank you. Thanks for the chat, for the conversation, for promoting it, and also basically for being brave and wild and crazy a little for selecting it.
No, thank,
Because what you were saying about changing attitudes, I can make a movie, but if the movie is not shown, I can only go so far.
exactly. Yeah.
So if you guys are not scared of it, nobody should be scared of it. So and there's nothing to be scared of it.
No, and it's a great thing that you're showing it here in Miami, where this is like the capital of Latin America. So where all
Mhm.
these different communities from Latin America, coexist, and
And
now we.
there's a lot of location that Paco and Malo could really use.
That's right. That's right. And
Beaches.
get to meet Paco and Manolo one day, and
Yeah, for when the next festival maybe is without pandemic, we could bring them on or as a jury or something. Or I'm
yeah,
sure a lot of people will be willing. No.
yes, 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 yes. Well, thank you very much, Alberto.
Thank you, Dino. Muchas gracias. Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias a ti. So we're gonna have the trailer for this film, everything at once, and again, outshinefilm.com for access to the program and to the film. Thank you very much. Have a good
Thank you
day.
much. You guys shine.
Bye.
Adios.